What is going on out there, YouTube? Welcome to the Nerd Nook. My name is Justin.
G'day everyone, I'm Paul.
This is a new channel, guys. That's the niceties out of the way. So that's who we are. We're Paul and Justin, a couple of good best friends. I am a Yankee from the West Coast, United States. Paul is not. Well, he was. That's how we met. But Paul, would you like to explain or tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can probably tell, I'm Australian. I live in Melbourne, Victoria. Justin and I have known each other for a couple of years now. We met through D&D. So when I was living in the States for a few years and just recently moved back. Yeah. So looking forward to, showing everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on that, like Paul and I, like Paul said, we met a couple years ago through mutual friends and D&D. Mutual friend that got us both into D&D. And then that kind of just blossomed into becoming a pair of gamers, enjoying video games and hanging out and talking nerdy stuff and geeking out about movies. So we decided, why not share it with you lovely people out there that are like us, and build a community around that. So here we are today. This is just going to be a brief video, kind of letting you guys get to know us and what to expect out of this channel. What kind of things you're going to see in the future. It's going to be about a 15-20 minute video. Most of our stuff is going to be coming through Twitch live streams, but will be available on YouTube at a later date. We may do so a little bit of editing, etc., etc. So we have a few questions that we kind of have outlined in the past couple days, to kind of help you guys keep things going on and we don't go down a crazy street. We already touched on question number one, which is, who are we? So you guys have a bit about us. The next question, I guess I'll go with. I'll kick things off with these questions again. What got us into gaming, Paul? What got you into gaming, man? What made you the gamer you are today?
Man, I think it was I think it could be like a bit of a common theme with a lot of people out there, rough experiences in school, all that sort of stuff, needing an outlet, and gaming was just great. I mean, not an overly creative person, but gaming is such a great outlet, happy, sad, angry, all that sort of stuff. It's just a great outlet enable you to put yourself out there, and I wouldn't go as far as say shutting all that out, but yeah, so that's kind of what got me through into the gaming, and I started to enjoy it more, and yeah, no longer became an outlet for all that sort of stuff. It just became a really enjoyable hobby.
For
Yeah,
sure.
man. So how about you? What
Oh
was
man,
your drive into gaming?
man, my first. Sorry, I have a squeaky chair. I might have to oil this thing up. My first, I can remember like my first venture into gaming, and it was Super Mario Brothers. Playing that on the
Nice,
Super Nintendo.
nice man.
I remember I would sneak off from doing chores around the house to go sit down in front and play a level. Um, I am a very puzzle-oriented person. I really enjoy puzzles. I'm going to school for game development. I've done software development and programming, which is, if you know, a puzzle. And I feel like those challenges in games are what keep me going a lot of the times. Um, like this Super Mario, I really it was all about beating those levels and finding the secret levels. And that's just carried on through. And then as games have developed and become more, there's been a wider genre of games. It's hit a lot more things. Like growing up, I played a lot of football, so I really like playing football games. Now that I'm in my adulthood, simulator games are fun, like being like Supermarket Simulator. So it's just those things. It's like Paul said, that fun, that happy, sad, those things. But it's also the puzzles, which is why I like kind of puzzle games like Zelda and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what got me into gaming, was puzzling and beating those levels and stuff. So, and then that just became more and
Man.
more of an addiction. So
Yep. Yeah, it's a good term. Addiction is right.
In the best sense of the word, right?
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Um, yeah, man. Well, why don't I'll kick it off with the next question, mate.
Okay,
What's
shoot it.
I mean, what are you excited about? What are you excited about developing with this channel, or showing the viewers as more of a broader sense?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So uh, one of the big things that I've streamed a little bit in my own personal time, um, and done some YouTube, and I've always said, and it's kind of always been my goal with it, is to build a community of people that are like-minded individuals and that respect each other, love each other, and support each other. Um, that's kind of one of my biggest goals with this channel, and I'm hoping that we are able to fulfill, because that's what makes me excited, is to build a community of gamers that we could play games with, we can interact with while we're doing it, and also just get to hang out with my best friend, doing something that I enjoy doing. We get to do it together, regardless that we're separated by the entire planet.
Christian.
So I mean, it's really cool, and you guys will see me kind of looking off to the left. It's because my camera's over here, so if I'm looking at that, it's because I'm looking at Paul. I've got to get used to that brain. So if you guys keep seeing me doing this, it's because I'm actually looking at him on the camera over here on OBS. But anyways, so that's kind of what I'm excited about, is meeting some new people and getting to hang out with my best friend and play some video games, and show you guys some of the games that we enjoy playing, and even playing games you guys recommend, or games that we've heard of that we haven't played before, and experience those stories and those games together. How about you, Paul? What's getting you excited about starting this channel?
Yeah, I think I mean, 100% I agree and second everything you said, mate. But I think for me, it's the difference that I feel like we can bring. Like, neither one of us are like, we're not esporters, we're not pro at gaming. It really is a hobby. So you're gonna see some stupid stuff. Like the first game we're gonna come off the brag. It's gonna be brutal, and
For
anyone
you.
that you got, yeah, absolutely. Anyone that joins is gonna be like, man, it absolutely hopeless. But that's great, because I mean, gaming is it's achievable for everyone. You don't have to be the best to get an enjoyment out of it. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to, is showing the wider community that you don't have to be a gun at gaming. You can be average or below average and still have a good time.
I mean,
You don't
yeah,
have to be the best.
totally,
And that's what
totally,
I'm excited to show, you
totally.
know?
Um,
Um
to kind
so
of, I'm gonna piggyback off of that for you, just kind of reinforce your point. Some of the better viewers, or better stream, or more of the, wow, bleh. Some of the more fun I have watching Twitch streamers and YouTube streamers is the average Joe streamer that's decent at a game, can get through it, and have a good time at it. And those, so for me, come up with some of the best moments. Rather than somebody, I mean, cool. It's cool to see like speedrunners and esport gamers to see what's possible, but it's really cool and really fun, and you get some pretty comical moments when you're just average game. Like, I mean, look at us with Helldivers, man. We had some great moments,
man.
and we have a couple of recordings that we might throw out there to show you guys. One in particular. That was so good. But yeah, I was just sorry if I didn't mean to step on you there. I was just
Nah,
reinforcing your
man.
point that
All good,
I
buddy.
100% agree with you about that. So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
like what you
no.
said about making a difference. I think that is important as well.
Yeah.
I
100%.
know for me, like, I mean, and sometimes, other people out there might relate. There's a bit of self consciousness and self awareness in being a gamer of our age, because it wasn't as accepted, and I put that in quotes because it was just one of those things that was like something you just did when you had some free time. It wasn't something that you pursued any kind of form of, like, I'm going to school right now for computer development. I didn't think that was possible. I thought, you can't get a career in video gaming. I mean, you can. I mean, we all know that now. It's 2024.
100%.
So that's the other thing, is like, just those of you that are out there that aren't sure about gaming and whether or not you should pursue it, do it, dude. Like, seriously, because it's not something that's going to be going away anytime soon. And if it makes you happy, that's what's important. So, Yeah, so we went off on a road there, and it's gonna
Ah,
happen
man,
just
nah.
because me and Paul can get into some conversations.
Yeah, and I think that kind of leads perfectly into like the next question about what viewers can expect is exactly that. Is it's not going to be perfect, not going to be
No.
scripted. We're going to go off the
What is
tracks.
this, like
You
the
guys
fifth
are going to
attempt
be
at
like,
this video right now?
have we? Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, yeah. There's going to be moments where you guys are going to be like, what the hell are
These
they even
dudes.
talking about? What is happening right now? Right? That's going to be stuff like that. We're not perfect gamers. We're not perfect people. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be clunky, but it's going to be fun. I
Yeah, we may
mean,
have
and that's
software issues here and there.
yeah,
It's not
hundred
going to be
percent.
seamless, and I don't think you guys are
No,
expecting that. But just we want to be able to put that out there that this is
yeah,
definitely new to us.
yeah,
Even as Twitch, like I said, I've done it, but I'm not a professional at it. I mean, I think I have less than 100 followers on Twitch. Um, Paul, this is your first time, right? Doing anything
hundred
like this?
percent.
Yeah.
First
So
time putting myself out on the camera. This is, this is gonna be nerve wracking for me. Like,
yeah, exactly. So I mean, to get into a little bit more onto what Paul is saying too is, um, with us, you're as long as you're kind, we'll be kind. You can hang around, and you'll expect genuine couple of dudes like we're gonna be laughing at each other and stuff like that, but we're not gonna accept any kind of bullying, um, any towards us or the other viewers. If we see it in chat, right now we're not really developed enough to really for it to make sense to have a moderator in our chat. But if it ever gets to that point, we will have a moderator that will be watching for that, because it won't be accepted in our community. This is going to be a bully-free zone. No isms of any kind, racism, sexism, any of that. And I'm just laying down like I'm being bad cop right now. I'm laying down those hard rules. Um, Also, on top of that, we're not going to talk politics. No politics. Reason number one, and the obvious one, is we don't live in the same country, so our politics are totally different. So who gives a shit? And B, it's not a great time to be talking about politics in the world right now. So we're just going to keep it out. And same with religion. Everybody has their opinion, and that's fine, and you're open to it, and that's the beauty about having freedom. But in this channel, it's just not going to be a topic of conversation. You will be warned, and if it continues, we'll just ask you to politely leave and then kick you. But those are just some of the hard rules that are going to be part of this channel. Before we get into the fun stuff of what you guys are expecting to see from this channel, but those rules will also be posted on the Twitch main page. You'll be able to see them, so they'll be clearly in black and white. If we're gonna have a Discord server, those will be listed in the Discord server, so they will be everywhere. That has to do with our channel. It might even be on our Twitter, which we do have a Twitter now. So that's just one thing to keep in mind with that. Paul, do you want to talk about what our first expectation is for the channel? Like what the first series, I guess, is for the channel? What people can see starting tonight, right? Are we doing it tonight?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So we figured that I mean, Justin said before that he's done some streaming, but by no means a professional. I've never done it before. We're both every gamers. It's a game we played before, but I think there have been once
I think
that
it's
has
the
been.
first game we've beaten together.
It's the first game we beat together, absolutely,
That's
and
actually a
and there
great way to
were
start the channel. We're playing the first game we beat together.
100%, man,
All right.
100%. But there were moments that we both absolutely struggled with, and it's just it's brutal, as you would expect from any game from these guys. But to start off, we're going to hit you up with Elden Ring. That's going to be our first one right out of the gate, with Shadow of the Erdtree being released soon, which we're both excited about. We figured, why not?
Yeah.
Let's kick that off. Let's
So
let's punish ourselves right off the bat.
we're gonna go for a completion of the base Elden Ring game
Yep,
and the DLC, because
yep, absolutely.
with our schedule on the stream schedule, which we will cover here in a few minutes. It's gonna take us some time. Take us some time to get there. So we will definitely Shadow of Erdtree will definitely have released by the time we are even able to access it. So, yeah. So you will be able to, our first series of streaming will be Elden Ring and hopefully the Shadow of the Erd Tree. We are going to obviously continue after that we've got some other games in mind. Baldur's Gate 3 being one of them, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Some live streaming of PUBG.
DayZ.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We do have a DayZ server that is a 10-person server right now because it's been just me and him learning the game because I had never played it before. Paul had played it minimally in the past, and it had been a while. So we're going to stream a little bit of that. If you guys are DayZ players and we start doing that, and you're, as long as you hold on to the rules, we will have open server nights where we will open up the server and we'll play with some of our viewers, stuff like that. So that's some of the games that you can expect to see from the stream. Of course, we're going to be open to new games we've never played before, like we said, and we'll even stretch that out to, like, if it's a game like Skyrim, we can play it with Skyrim together. So we are not afraid of modding. That's how we will be playing Elden Ring. We will be playing it with the I don't remember the name of the mod. Do you remember the name of the mod?
For Elden Ring?
Yeah, the multiplayer
Yeah,
mod.
it's a seamless co-op mod.
Seamless co-op mod. So if you haven't played it, nexusmods.com, the seamless co-op mod. You guys will see how that works. We'll be able to play the whole game together basically without ever having to separate. So, yeah. Paul, do you want to expect what non-gaming things that they're going to be expected to see?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
we're going to do we want to eventually get up and running a podcast where we'll be talking about interests, stuff like that.
And it'll be like in a format, basically, kind of like it'll be in this format, basically. Do you just see
absolutely.
us? And
yep. We hope to bring in some. We're both whiskey fans, so doing some whiskey tastings. Which we'll let, or as something that we'll do as the channel grows, which will probably reach out and maybe get some recommendations and get the community involved in that in some way. Movie chat, stuff like that. Did
you bring up? You brought up maybe you are doing a reaction for me watching.
Oh yeah.
Rugby?
So I don't know how many of
rugby,
you all
right?
are familiar with. No, it's not rugby, Justin. That's going to be
cricket.
That
it was cricket or rugby.
It was AFL.
What is AFL? What is AFL?
So AFL is Australia's. It's Australia's national sport, right? The extended name is Australian Rules Football, or the Australian Football League, as it's now known, hence AFL. The best way of describing it is there is really no. I guess the best way of describing it is part rugby, part soccer or football for our European fans. So, and I use that because there is a lot of tackling. It's a very contact-driven sport. There's no, like American football. You've got, you plated or armored up or whatever. There's none of that. Do yourself a favor, check out AFL tackles, and you'll kind of get an idea of what I mean.
Maybe
very fast paced
video we can do.
100%, man. Very fast paced. So that could be something fun that we do. Bring something.
We may
bring something out there. Yep.
We may have nights that we don't feel like gaming, or we don't have the time for it. We only have an
100%.
hour or something like that. So, we'll be doing stuff like that. We'll be maybe even finding, like, if Paul and I find funny YouTube videos throughout the week, we'll just react to some funny YouTube videos. You guys can send us some or something. It's not all going to be gaming. That's why that's why we settled on the name Nerd Nook. The logo up there in the top right corner is a temporary logo. Same with the overlay here. This is something that we threw together this week, so that way we had something to present to you guys. We're going to try to kind of hone it into a central theme eventually, but like we said, we're new to it, so we're still learning it. We're still figuring it out. But that's why we called it the Nerd Nook, because it's not going to be gaming. It's going to be nerd stuff, and you guys are the nerds joining us. So, like he said, whiskey tasting, because we like whiskey tasting. We don't like drinking whiskey just to drink whiskey. We like to experience those flavors and those different notes of different things of when it was when it was stilled. So yeah, you'll be seeing those
We
things.
should do
Wine tasting.
wine
Yeah, I
as
was gonna say
well.
wine tasting, beer tastings.
Beer
We'll be doing.
tastings, 100%. I mean, it's endless. It's just not,
Mhm.
yeah.
And
So,
if we're lucky in the future, we might get a live in person us doing it together. So
absolutely. Yeah.
you guys will kind of what we're gonna try our best to do is have because Paul being unfamiliar with Twitch, I'm kind of also teaching him on the fly here. As you guys might know, Twitch has a schedule option down in the page info while you're watching a video. We're gonna try our best to have that schedule up to date and correct as possible. Now, Elden Ring is going to be our primary game and our starting opening to this, so that's pretty much all you're going to see on the schedule is Elden Ring for each stream. But once we start kind of coming up with concepts, you guys will start seeing like, oh, this week it's going to be just chatting, and you guys are going to be talking about whiskey this week, and we're going to be trying these whiskeys and talking while we're trying the whiskeys. We're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. So just watch the schedule if you guys are curious on what's coming up for videos if you're not sure. Yeah, I mean, really, that's really what to expect from the channel. Unless you have anything else that you'd like to hit on it. I guess the last thing for expectations is the day, and would be about the time that we're streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming,
Yeah, there.
It's gonna be a little bit later because of the time difference. But it's gonna be on Fridays for the U.S. Friday evenings in the U.S., Friday nights, and then I don't know your Saturday afternoon.
So Saturday about this time to
Paul's in the future.
I am, so I already know what's happened. It's rough.
Why didn't you warn us about COVID, Paul? Oh no, you were in the States at that time. Never mind.
I was in the States at that time, mate. That was an experience. Anyway.
Okay, so away from that. Last topic before this video, and then we're gonna wrap things up. We're getting to the 30 minutes, which is kind of what I wanted to be at for video time. Obvious choice. What's your top 5 games?
We're gonna start right out the gate and just
honorable mention and then top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, top 5 and then honorable mention?
No. Is it honorable mention first? Oh no.
No, honorable mention last.
No, you do it before your first. You do
it before 5, first. 4, yep. 3,
2, and then honorable mention and then first.
Cool. Yeah. So this is what we mean,
All
right,
getting raw interactions between me and Paul. We
100%.
Just decided to basically share it with the world. Is really what
absolutely.
We're doing. So
exactly.
There was question 4 summed up. Me and Paul like to play games together. We want you guys to experience it. There was the short way to answer that question.
100%. We could have just switched straight to this. Anyway, so right off the bat, this is going to be like I thought long and hard throughout all of this, and I tried to keep it not like games that filled me with nostalgia, but games that I was actually like, hell yeah, that was awesome. It was rough, and I think I'm going to surprise even you with some of my choices here, right? So number 5, starting off, is I watched this show religiously before I went to school every morning, and it was wonderful, and it was what got me into anime. And there has never been a game that makes you feel more like you're a character of a show than Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And I am unbelievably excited for Sparking Zero like no other game this year.
That's the only Dragon Ball game I've ever played because it's the only good one that I've enjoyed. The only one I've enjoyed.
Absolutely phenomenal. One of the fighting games out there. It's absolutely fantastic. 100%.
That's so funny.
The next game, maybe not necessarily of a shock. Maybe as part of the series, but number 4 is Final Fantasy IX. Everything about that game I love. The storytelling, the music, the world, the graphical style. There are some scenes in there, I know you haven't played it, so I'm not going to spoil it, Justin, but there are some great emotional scenes in that game. And I'm super excited. I've been hearing a lot of leaks about a potential rumor, a remake.
It's in the works. I think I read where
apparently it's deep in the works, but there's nothing being confirmed yet. But we know what the gaming industry is like.
Didn't a game just get canceled like mid-production? And it's been going for a while, and it was supposed to be really a popular release. I'll have to look it up. Well, it'll be a
Yeah,
discussion in the future.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
no, I
No,
mean,
you said no,
I
you're
agree
good.
with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I read today that it was in the middle of development, but
yeah.
that doesn't mean it's going to get released. So
No, 100%, absolutely not. But it makes sense from if they were going to continue this route of remaking Final Fantasy games. I feel like FF9 is the next one to do after FF7.
and then I think 6 would
Um,
be after 9.
yeah. So number three, I mean, I think this is a pretty popular opinion, but Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, it's just a phenomenal game. The characters, the world, the graphics, the storytelling, the plot, everything. It's just phenomenal. The crazy shenanigans you can get up to, just wonderful. Number two, yeah, there's a little bit of, I'll be honest, there's a little bit of nostalgia in this, but it is one of the best games that was released on PlayStation 1. And I played played it as part of the collection this year, and it just brought back everything. It's just phenomenal. But Metal Gear Solid, 1,000%. One of the
The
voice
first
acting
one?
is what, yeah, the first one, yeah. The voice acting in that game is just stellar, and just phenomenal. And then the next one, there has never been a game that has emotionally wrecked me and set me on a roller coaster like this game, and it's a first, like it set me on a.
What rank is this? Because you did.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I got to do the honorable mention. There we go. So honorable mention. This is a shock. I reckon this will be a bit of a shock. The honorable mention that I couldn't squeeze in is a game that was released on Xbox called Lost Odyssey.
Heard of that? I'm looking it up right now as he's talking about it. Because
Japanese
I think
RPG,
I've played. Yep,
absolutely
I
phenomenal.
rented it from a Hollywood Video or whatever back in the day.
Yeah. I absolutely love that game, and I played it so much.
Nope, not the game I was thinking of. Never mind.
Cool.
That came out in 2007. And I don't think Blockbuster was around in 2007. So
Yep. I've been thinking about going back and playing it recently, but I just couldn't squeeze it in. But highly, anyone who hasn't played it, go out and give it a crack. I think it's available on the Xbox store. It'll probably be pretty cheap, I'd imagine. But rolling into my number one, as I was saying,
sorry, I
this
didn't
game
mean to interrupt
emotion.
that. I just want to make sure you got your honorable mention in.
Yep, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Otherwise, I would have forgot. Um, yeah, this game, just like after I finished it, I took a break for like 3 months because I couldn't pick up another video game because it just wrecked me. It's the only game that's ever caused me to cry, and I was on an absolute roller coaster. Some of the most phenomenal voice acting, a great plot, and a great twist on the typical, story of this sort of variety. But it's The Last of Us. I mean, The Last of Us probably will be my top one for a very, very long, long
One
time.
and two, or just one?
Just one.
Have
Yeah.
you played two yet?
Yeah. Because, funnily enough, I have not finished two yet.
But you played it.
I have played a bit of it. I have played up until, I think I've played about maybe 2 and a bit hours into it. So I am aware of what happens at the start.
I'm not going to spoil it for any viewers that watch this.
No. But yeah, so that would be my top five.
I would agree with you 100% on The Last of Us being in your
Yeah,
top five. I'm not going to say
yeah,
it being number one because it might not be not my number one.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
It is definitely a fantastic game. Not only story, but just mechanics, dude. Like
Yeah, and that's the thing, man.
the picking up the scraps to upgrade your weapons and the pills to
Yeah,
upgrade your skills, like to
yeah,
the shooting mechanics. Like it was just it was it. I mean, it was a game that really kind of pushed PlayStation into the next level. I feel. I think it was
yeah,
it was definitely one of those
100%.
next level games
Yeah,
that kind of raised the bar for gaming.
correct. Well, it raised the bar for Naughty Dog. I mean,
Oh
like they
yeah.
killed it with Uncharted for years. And yeah, I know Uncharted is probably one of my top game series. I just couldn't squeeze it in anyway. But it just propelled like Naughty Dog into this whole other stratosphere. There probably isn't a game company out there that can match them for um character development and storytelling. I don't think. Anyway, yeah, I totally So
It's
top
it's a
five, mate.
you're good. No, it's a great game. Like yeah, there's I feel like it's an old enough game that I don't care about spoilers on that one. I feel like a lot of people played that one at least.
Yeah, yeah,
The part where you become Ellie and it's looking grim for Joel was such a like moment in for me because it was like you've been so
yeah,
reliant on Joel's like strength and like this
yeah,
dude and like and then all of a sudden you've got to be Ellie and it's like and then
yeah.
you're in that factory or the plant with
The
that
but the yeah,
it was like a lumber
it's
mill
a
or something but like yeah that was such a stressful moment for me playing that game.
oh, it was for me as well because they did it so well because you're a teenage girl going up against grown men and you felt it like the way that
You
you
did.
do the stealth kills where she has to jump on top of them and it's like even in the stealth kills where you know it's a mechanic as soon as you press that button something's going to happen but there was
Yeah,
that feeling and it's like oh hang on I could the alley could get thrown off here
because I
you
think
know
at that point you've got like shivs, so you're pretty solid as Joel. So
yeah
like defending against like clickers and stuff is not as bad. But then you go back to
yeah
Ellie and it's and then like there's like it almost gives me Resident Evil 5 vibes when you're in that house and the zombies are breaking in and you've got to like move the furniture and stuff with that dude and you're defending that area. It gives me that for opening sequence in Resident Evil 5 when you're with I don't know if you ever played it but you're in a building and you're defending a bunch of zombies.
yeah
Yeah, but anyways, all right. So we don't waste any more of y'all's time. We're still good on time though because we are just now hitting 30
here we
minutes.
are
So
yeah
I'll go ahead and start. So number 5, I'm doing this a little differently than Paul did. Paul put together a list. I just kind of put together an idea of like my top 10 favorite games, and I'm just gonna wing this and fly by the seat of my pants. I do know at least a good solid bunch of them. So I think at number 5, it's gonna be the game I think that made me a gamer, and that's gonna be The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
yeah solid choice
I have beaten that games more times than I can count. Um, it's one I go back to every couple of years. And I know, especially now that it's on Switch, like I just go back to it, beat it, and then I'm good for a couple more years. It's just such a solid game. Like it just really is.
yeah
Like the that whole puzzle thing I was talking about in the beginning of this video, like that is the epitome of like that game for me. Like
yeah
going through some of those temples, especially as adult Link, like the Forest Temple is like considered one of the best dungeons in gaming still today. Um, it's just it was for me it was just one of the top tier games. All the other Zelda games are great too. I love Twilight Princess. I love Majora's Mask. I love I haven't played the newest one, but I played the one before it, Breath of the Wild. They're all great games. Don't get me wrong. They are definitely top 20 games. They're just not top 5. Ocarina of Time, because it got me going into RPGs basically.
yeah
That is my top or my first game in the top 5. Number 4 for me, and again, replayability factor and story is a factor for this one as well. It is the Mass Effect series. Paul knows this. I talk about it all the time. I am a huge fan of the Mass Effect series. There's just something about the combat and then just your choices mattering at the end of 3 throughout the entire series if you have all 3, which you can now because of technology and it's awesome. And then they even outdid themselves by making one better in the it's not a remake but the Ultimate Edition or whatever. The
yeah
newest one,
yeah
the Steam version, basically the one that came out for
yeah
newer generation
which
ones.
yeah I don't think it's a remake I think they just chucked in
It's called like
4K textures
and they changed some of the mechanics
yeah
in one.
yeah
Not a whole lot, but enough to where it actually makes a pretty. I think a lot of like the aiming mechanics or something. I can't remember what it
yeah
was. I read something. I'm gonna look real quick. I got my Steam up. I want to know what it's called because it's gonna bug me. Because I know there's like the Halo Master Chief Collection, which is basically all the Halos. It's gonna be under my beat games. The Legendary Edition. It's
yeah
the Legendary Edition. So that's a great game. That's just another
yeah
one that I really enjoy the mechanics of
solid
the fighting, the cover shooter kind of style fighting combat. So number 3, this is where it's gonna start getting tough. So number 3 is a game I've beaten recently. Well, I'm gonna say I've beat it recently. I'm pretty much there. Or no, That's my honorable mention. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Number 3 is a game I have beaten recently, and it is going to be between two. I'm so sorry. Red Dead Redemption 2. It was a fantastic game.
It's such a great game.
It was in a very emotionally charged game. I think I had ruined it for myself because I had known that Arthur gets sick and dies, and you don't end up. Oh, sorry if I spoiled it for anybody. But
the game's been out for how long now?
It's been out for how long now?
If you haven't played it now, the statute of limitations is over now.
Yeah. Anyways, that was just another great game. The mechanics, again, the story was there. I got emotional about it. Not as emotional as some of my other games that I'll be listing, but fairly emotional. And then just the beauty of the landscape. Me and Paul have talked about that. Like, you don't fast travel in Red Dead. Like, you don't.
No, it's the only game I've never used a fast travel function in.
I used it once. Paul knows it. I told him the whole trick, but it was basically to make $500 real quick at the end of the early game. And that's just because I couldn't be bothered to go from Rhodes back to Valentine. Anyways, number 2. Who was that number? Yeah, number 2 is... Spider-Man, the PS4 release of Spider-Man, that is now considered Spider-Man 1 now because there's multiples.
Yes, I think so.
Like Paul had said with his choice, I had never cried so hard in a video game or because of a video game that I did at the end of Spider-Man 1 with Aunt May.
Yeah, the end is brutal.
With Aunt May destroyed me. I am a Marvel fan. If you guys... Oh, I can't do it because I'm on Blur, but my whole thing around here, and I might try to fix it up to where you guys can actually see that during stream, is Marvel. I mean, I've got Marvel Funko Pops. I've got them all. Anyway, so I'm a huge Marvel fan. So that game, I felt, stuck to the Marvel formula so very well. And didn't try, they didn't have to try, they tried things new for with this web slinging and stuff like that, but they didn't venture away from who Spider-Man is and what Spider-Man is, which was really appreciative. And then also having the callbacks to all the different comic books and their outfits was a really cool concept to me. Honorable mention, and this is where I was going to say, I haven't beat it yet, and these are all trying to be games that I've beaten and experienced fully, but I'm pretty much there on this one. Paul knows it because I'm playing it currently, is Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, and I have a pass on this one. I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. When you find out that Paul, you don't know this yet because I haven't updated you. When you find out that Cloud is Sephiroth's alter ego, my jaw hit the floor. And then, prior to that, when Aerith gets killed by Sephiroth, another moment, and that was with no vocal acting, was a really powerful scene. And they
honorable
mention.
They knocked it out of the park with those early Final Fantasy games. No voice acting, but yet somehow they made them so powerful. Probably the only real letdown might be FF8, but they brought it home back strong with FF9. FF8 is still a great game, but I think FF7 and FF9 are 100% without voice acting. Two of the
it makes me more excited for the remake.
It's good.
There's no voice acting. I can't wait to have that aspect in that remake, which I've played a little bit of it now. That's definitely what. And it's definitely my favorite JRPG for sure.
Yeah.
But I had, you guys are probably asking, well, why are you waiting till 2024 to beat it now? I had always gotten basically out of Midgar and then got overwhelmed and never kind of really proceeded past there. I didn't know there was such cool fucking summons. Oh, and part of question 4, what do viewers expect? This is not a G or PG rated channel. There's going to be drinking involved and some cursing. So, anyways, and that brings us all the way around to number 1. Paul's going to like this. My favorite game is the new Jedi's Fallen Order and Survivor games. I'm going to count those as a series of games. And while I wasn't as emotionally I was emotionally invested, it didn't impact me emotionally as say Spider-Man did. It's the gameplay for me on that one. I felt like a goddamn Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, especially in Survivor. In Survivor, I really felt powerful. And I think that's the testament to that game as well. Is it's this journey of being a Padawan all the way to a Jedi Knight. And so you feel that power. And then it doesn't reset it into the new game. They just make it harder to be good and make more enemies stronger. Like, it was a very good game that I beat in a matter of like a week, Paul. Like, it was, I beat both of them in like a 2-week span. So those two games really have, I still haven't installed them from my computer. They're still on my computer because I plan on playing them again. Those games were really good for me. There was a lot of games to choose from, guys. And you guys know that. Like, I'm sure if you were asked
it
me
was
to
rough. I
if
mean, you mentioned games.
Oh,
I mean,
shoot. Oh, okay. You know what? It's fine. I'm locking it in, but I will throw in another one is Satisfactory because I have over 500 hours into that game, so it has to be good somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
It's such a rough list. I mean, you're putting together a top 5 of anything. There's always going to be stuff like I am a monster Star Wars fan, and it was rough not being able to slot any of the stuff like Coda 1.
That those weren't in there.
Yeah, and I was surprised by it too, but I was looking at it, I was thinking about it. I mean, but they are absolutely fantastic games, but there are games that I've played, like my top 5 is a representation of games that I've played that just shocked me at how absolutely good they were.
Yeah.
And for like for an anime to put out a fighting game that makes you feel like you're part of that anime, like fighting games are usually like, and I'm not particularly a fighting game fan, but the Tenkaichi series is the only one that I'm like, man, this is like, and probably because I'm a massive fan, but
I will caveat
it was
your point about the fighting games is the Mortal Kombat series. There's a couple more the newer Mortal Kombat games that are actually good. Like what's Mortal Kombat? 10,
I've heard
10.
Yeah, I've
and
heard they're good.
Are good.
Yeah,
And like the
yeah.
story is good. And 9, I think is it a continuation from 9? That was basically that newer kind of format that they were doing.
But I mean, you talk about like games that like shape like Mass Effect. I mean, couldn't slot a Mass Effect game in there. Dragon Age, the same. I mean, like I couldn't slot. Yeah, which I just changed the name of. So, like, there's just so many. I mean, from soft games, like I would have loved to, like Elden Ring. I'm the view of those people that Elden Ring changed my perception of how RPGs should be made, but I couldn't slot that in there. I mean, it's not just. 100%. If we were to do a top 10 list, it's gonna have the Star Wars games. It's gonna have Elden Ring. It's gonna have Mass Effect. It's gonna have Coda in there. But it's just
a hard time not including any strategy games because I for a long time was a big proponent of strategy. I really enjoyed Civilization Revolution.
Yeah, like just in SC they announced 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Civilization. Yeah, and I mean that's another thing, guys. Like Justin and I will, have a mammoth session of Civilization one day. But like, yeah, it's
we'll
just
chess one day because me and Paul are getting into chess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just it's a tough thing, man. Putting together a top 5 of anything is that I would struggle putting together a top 5 whiskey or a top 5 favorite wine list or a top 5 favorite movie or music or whatever. It would still be the same thing. And I'm sat here thinking, fuck. Does that really deserve to be in there? Yeah, it absolutely does. But it's that,
I mean,
and these are all my opinions too, guys. I mean, it's just.
I honestly, and now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, shit, I didn't add Guardians of the Galaxy, which I really enjoyed in that game. Like, that
you
was
did.
A very good game, and another very emotional game. I got very emotional in it. I really enjoyed it.
And
but
Baldur's Gate 3,
I mean, I've explained it to you in the past, like, I tend to especially when it comes to games, break up my top 5 based on like genre or type.
Yeah.
Like top 5 RPG, top 5 open world survival game, like those kind of things, because it's such a broad topic. So
Yeah.
Last question I'm going to ask. I'm going off the page here, Paul.
Oh man, wait, unprepared? What the question without notice? What's going on
I
here?
I was going to do this the whole time. I was just going to throw you one because
All right, go for it.
I'm training you, man. I got to have you ready.
Yeah.
On the heels of what we just discussed, what is your most disappointed you've been in a video game? What game has disappointed you the most?
God, man, this is
I'll give you mine.
Oh no! I was gonna say, I'm thinking, man, this is gonna be so easy. This is gonna be so hard. No, it's easy because
if it's
it
Superman,
100%.
it doesn't count.
No, it's
It
not Superman. It's not Superman at all. This game from this studio should have been bigger and better than it was. If there was ever a game that overpromised and undelivered by a country mile, it is 1,000% Starfield. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most disappointing games
To you.
I have ever played.
Yeah, to you.
Like, yeah,
saying it's one of the greatest.
100%. And this is just in my opinion. And I'm a massive I love Bethesda, but I feel that all it was Fallout in space with a spaceship in it. I just felt like the space combat, the flying should have been better. Maybe it will be later on down the track, but I was so disappointed. I've never
I was
uninstalled a
expecting more of a
game.
Star Citizen style model than I was, or a No Man's
Yeah,
Sky
me too.
style
Even
model.
like a No Man's Sky aspect, like
I mean, I would have even accepted like if you got to fly to a certain point away from the planet,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
basically had to fast travel because you could traveling between planets could take forever. But the fact that you basically jump in a ship, hit a button, then you get a loading screen, you go up into space, and then you basically go again into the map, pick a place, that's obnoxious.
Granted, I'm going to say this right now, is ask me this question come, I think it's August, when Outlaws is released.
Ooh, yeah.
Because my biggest fear of that game is it's just going to be a gloss over of Far Cry in space.
All right,
So,
I have two that come to mind that I can't really decide whether or not I can choose between them, and this is personal opinion, I guess, as well.
So is mine. Sorry for all you Starfield fans out there.
My first one is Pokemon Violet and Ruby.
Which I haven't played. Atreus, I was super disappointed in.
I actually really enjoy it. It's just it's a lot, so it's hard for me to do.
Yeah.
I like the whole system of catching and updating the Codex because you're like starting out discovering Pokemon. I like that. I just for some reason felt like Pokemon Ruby and whatever those two are, the new ones, that are kind of like Mexico themed. They just felt unfinished. They feel so bare compared to other. One of my favorite Pokemon games was Sword and Shield. I thought that done.
Same, I agree.
So well done. I went and bought like the freaking guides and the Pokedex, like
nice,
because I wanted all that stuff. My second, and that was kind of like almost like an honorable mention. This is my most disappointed I've ever been in a game, and this I'm gonna hold it up because I have the game manual or like the game guide for it because I was so excited for it. I bought them together. Mass Effect Andromeda. The biggest disappointment, because it's in my top 5, the other 3, this is a paperweight. It was just, and it even started decently. I was like, okay, Andromeda Galaxy, It got worse as you played it. And a game has very rarely done that for me. From that studio, that's a disappointment. Now we have a 4 coming out soon or in the future, and that makes me nervous because now they are on a they have everybody kind of like ooh. But if it's continuing 3, I think they'll be okay. If it's continuing events from 3, or if it's a prelogue to 1, 2, and 3, kind of like the Skillian Verge stuff that they talk about, but you never really dive into, that'd be cool. But anyways, we're getting close. We're getting up to 50 minutes now, so we probably should cut it. I wanted to keep it under an hour, A, for upload's sake, and B, for not having to bore everybody, but I did go off on a tangent there. Any other comments that you have, Paul? Anything you would like to say to the people?
No, I mean, just enjoy, guys, and feedback, please. Constructive, be nice. We get it. We're dicks. You don't need to tell us that. But constructive, if there's something you want to see, if you're like Paul and Justin, quit moving about so much. Look at the camera. Don't like whatever it is. Let us know. We'll adapt and change and learn. Especially me. Constructive feedback, please, by all means.
Yes, and the one thing we will not like to have though is spoilers. Do not spoil things for us.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it's a
best
game
not to
that
spoil
we've
things for you guys when we're doing our discussions, like we tried to tonight, but if
Sure.
we're playing a game that we said we've never played before and we're trying to experience it for the first time, we might even throw in the title, no spoilers, please. But yeah, just try not to spoil games for us. If you want to give us tips on gameplay things and that stuff, cool.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
if it's a key story moment, we're very anti-spoiler, so
Yeah,
please don't do
absolutely.
that.
And same if it's a game that we've played before, just for the rest of the community. They might not have played it. They want to, get a first look or whatever. So, don't say who the, the BBEG is at the end or give anything away or stuff like that. Just, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My last comment, I guess, would be, and I don't like saying it, but we want this to be successful. Follow. That's the best way to know when we're going live, is to follow our channel and subscribe when that becomes an option. But follow, because you'll get those notifications that the Nerd Nook is live, and you'll be able to join us and hang out. If you'd like to join us, join our Discord. Just let us know during live stream or shoot us a comment on this video, and we'll give you a link to the Discord or whatever. But don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions or ask things of us. We want to engage with you guys as much as you want to engage with us. So that's all I have
100%.
for this video. This is just kind of supposed to be an introduction, get to know us. It's a good hour of understanding who we are and if you like our vibes. So if you don't like it now, see you later. If you do, hit that follow button, share it with your friends, hit the like button, because that's just going to keep us reaffirming us that we are doing a good job and you guys are enjoying it, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. If you don't like it, at least leave a comment with some, like Paul said, constructive criticism that can help make us better so that you guys can enjoy it. So those are my closing remarks. I'll leave it to Paul, and then we will catch you guys at the live stream here in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I got nothing else. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy Elden Ring. For those that haven't played it before, you're in for an absolute visual treat. Sorry, enjoy, gents, guys, everyone.
Everyone. Anyways, all right, guys. See you guys. Catch you at the live stream. Bye.
Bye.